The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans. It is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. The Ride Home Rants podcast wants to thank you for listening and let everybody know that we do offer monthly subscriptions to help support the show in other ways other than listening and downloading each episode. What you will get with each subscription is you will get bonus episodes that aren't released to everybody. You will also have a chance to ask me anything each and every month where I will put out a special episode just to answer your questions. You will also get more exclusive content that is not released to everybody. To subscribe to the show, go and click on the link in the description of this episode, and I look forward to your added support and to help us keep this show going. The Ride Home Rants podcast is also brought to you by Buddy's Beard Care. Buddy's Beard Care provides premium men's grooming products at an affordable price. Products are made in Ohio, and Buddy's Beard Care supports local. The majority of our supplies are from other Ohio-based companies. You can find them on social media at Buddy's Beard Care or online at buddysbeardcare.com. Use the promo code BONO15 and he will save you 15%. I've been using these products for a little over 6 months now, and my beard has never felt healthier. It has never grown faster, and according to my wife, it has never felt softer. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by former guest of the show in Matt Landowski in Sweet Hands Sports. Elevate their game with Sweet Hands Sports. Our sports gloves are designed for champions, providing ultimate grip and durability. Achieve greatness with every match. Choose Sweet Hands Sports for the winning edge. Grip your victory at sweethandsports.com. Use the promo code BONO10 and he will save you 10%. He has sent me a complimentary pair of golf gloves. They are so comfortable, durable, and breathable. You won't find a better pair of gloves out there. Again, sweethandsports.com, promo code BONO10. Lastly, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Deemed Fit, a clothing company from first responders for first responders. These products are so comfortable. They look great. They have great messages on them. They are provided to support first responders, especially those who worked through COVID. All of the proceeds are going to helping veterans and first responders with their mental and physical health. This is a great cause. I support anything that has to do with our first responders and our veterans. Again, deemedfit.co, promo code Mike Bono will save you 20%. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I have a great episode for us today. It is our yearly and annual NFL season preview show. I have a panel of guests that I'm excited to talk to. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And, guys, per usual, I have some questions you need to answer at the beginning. So I need your name. What state were you born in? And do you hand wash your dishes or use a dishwasher? And TJ, we're going to start with you.
Hello, everyone. TJ Lett, born in good old Ohio. Maybe not for sports, but, it's the heart of the Midwest. But so I grew up and I didn't have a dishwasher in my house, so I watched my mom do dishes by hand. So I initially started doing things by hand. Then I got married and my wife started yelling at me for doing it by hand. And she said, just put it in the dishwasher. We'll do it later. So
Okay.
I've had to slowly break some habits and start using the dishwasher. But, if it's just me, in my studio, I had a studio. I had 4 plates, 4 forks, 4 spoons, did it by hand. All the dishes were put away at the end of the night, but then marriage happened. So
that's easy, man. Yeah, absolutely. But Tony, what about you?
My name is Tony. I am from Ohio. I was born and raised in Ohio. And I have a dishwasher in my new apartment, but I don't ever use it. Not because it's broken, it's because I usually don't have a lot of dishes to be using a dishwasher. So I use it by hand.
Okay. Bill, let's go to you next.
What's going on, guys? Bill, born and raised in Ohio. I think fitting all of us so far in the NFL preview show. Got Canton right around the bend over around here, but I'm a dishwasher guy. Occasionally hand wash for sure. There's not enough to go in, but usually I'll find enough to put in there and run a load.
Okay. Bob, let's go to you next.
Bob Gavalier. I was born in Ohio, and I am a hand washing guy. I'm a single guy living in an apartment and don't have a lot of dishes like everybody else, so I could do them easily. Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Ryan, round us out here.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm Ryan Barth born in Illinois, and I hand wash my dishes while I still have a dishwasher. I prefer to do them by hand. So
I gotcha. Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Nice little mix of hand washing versus dishwashing there. But everyone knows me, Mike Bono, born and raised in West Virginia. I do live in Ohio now, but West Virginia through and through for sure. And I hand wash my dishes. I have enough for a dishwasher. I don't have a dishwasher. I wish I did because my 16-year-old seems to think that every drink needs a new glass, and I'm forever washing cups and glasses. And I buy him solo cups. That's what really gets me just for him. And he uses my coffee mugs for everything. So yeah, that's the joys of parenthood and kids, hand washing dishes all day, every day. We're not going to sit here to talk about dishes and that. We're going to talk about the NFL. And TJ, let's start with you and let's get this thing rolling. But rank these 3 coaches as to who is on the hot seat to the coolest seat this year. And that is Mike Tomlin for the Steelers, Kevin Stefanski for the Browns, and Dan Campbell for the Lions.
Hot seat. Kevin Stefanski. Unfortunately, it got hot-shotted from 2 years ago when he was in the playoffs and the coach of the year with how poorly they played last year. So they hot-shot it to the top of the list. And especially since how Browns really go through coaches, I think that is kind of a safe bet there. And then you got Mike Tomlin. You brought in Aaron Rodgers. I think that was a failed experiment with Russell Wilson. So now they bring in another veteran. And with Aaron Rodgers, you're still going to have that buffer year. But, I mean, anytime he's anywhere close to not going 500, which is ridiculous, he's on the hot seat. And that's what greatness breeds. That's what you have in a program, in an organization, that expectation. So unfortunately, he's on the hot seat anytime he's anywhere close to 500. And then obviously Dan Campbell. I think that they've been so successful these last few years with how poorly they played in the last decade. He was the sole reason they turned around. Sole reason. They've always had decent players. They've had Hall of Fame players, but, they brought in a coach that just understands the culture, understands Detroit and what they needed to be, run down your face type of program. So they're going to ride with him for a little while. It's got to be catastrophic if he's going to end up being canned.
Yeah, I don't see that happening at all. But Bill, what about you? Let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, I think I have the same exact order. I think Stefanski, diehard Browns fan, but just tough to watch. It's been up and down this past forever, but especially his tenure. A lot of highs and a lot of lows. Deshaun kind of, factor in there. I don't know how much will be kind of thrown on him for that, but it's the Browns. They're going to find a scapegoat for not good this year. They're probably going to look his direction, either him or the GM. So I can see him being on the hot seat for sure. Not a ton of confidence in us this year. So I think you got to be him. Tomlin number 2, same reasons. I think I have a lot of Steeler fans that really aren't sure if they want to keep him around, which as a Browns fan is crazy to me. You're in the running every year. It's like, I feel like I appreciate the guy, but everyone's kind of calling for him. And I feel like once you get the heat from the fans kind of coming in, you have a little bit of a hot seat there. And Campbell, I don't see really on the hot seat at all. I think he's kind of solidified in there in Detroit. And they got a good team. I think they'll be good again this year. So I don't see too much of a reason. I think obviously want to see them take the next level and go get to the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl and stuff. But I think he's bought himself a good amount of time in there.
I gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling that's pretty much going to be the order for everyone here. We're still going to give everyone another chance to talk. But, Bill, to your point with the Steelers, that's a Pittsburgh thing. That's just a Pittsburgh sports fan. I'm a Pittsburgh sports fan. I like the Steelers, and I'm calling for Tomlin's head. I know he's never had a losing season, blah, 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 whatever. Win a playoff game. How about that? Can we win a playoff game? Haven't won a playoff game in a decade. Let's win a playoff game, and we'll talk, and we'll go from there. But that's the sentiment of every Pittsburgh fan. If you're not winning playoff games and championships, you're not doing your job at that point. But Bob, what about you with this hot list?
Yeah, I'd have to keep the same. I think Stefanski would be at the top of the list, unfortunately. Some of it kind of isn't his fault because they brought in Deshaun Watson. I'm sure, I don't know if he had to sign off on it or not, but getting him wasn't helping too much. When the owner admits he made a mistake, that's a thing. But I think he's first, and then, I think Tomlin second. I agree with all these other guys, man. I'm glad to take Tomlin getting me to I'm a Dolphins fan. I'd love to be in the playoffs every year. So it was like, you spoiled Pittsburgh fans got nothing to talk about. It's like,
we don't. We really don't.
We're go to the playoffs.
We're spoiled. we like our championship. We don't like playoff appearances. We like playoff wins and championships. I get it. We're spoiled. Spoiled fans. That's all we are.
Yeah, Campbell got to be third, even though I think they're going to only give him a couple more years here because I think last year was a little bit of a shock to them. They lost in the first round. They got knocked out. So I think he's on a short lease here, even though he's probably the least of the three. I'm still thinking they need to kind of move on and get a couple of wins in the playoffs this year. But that's a tough division, so that's going to be an interesting division to see. Probably one of the better divisions of football, especially what happened today with Packers getting what's his name for the cow? I forgot his name now.
Micah Parsons,
the linebacker. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's a big one for sure. They're coming down late today that happened. But Ryan, let's get to your list here with the hot seats.
Yeah, I think actually I put McDaniel and Stefanski as the top two that were probably on the hot seat. Just offensively, that's more minded what they are and not being able to prove really what they are. I know that some injuries have impacted that, but I think those are the top two. And then being a Bears fan, I would, kill for like Tomlin's culture and all that. I know the winning seasons and all of that, but winning in the playoffs can be a tough thing to do. But when you've been there as much as they have, you'd probably like to see some more wins. But and then with Campbell and the Lions, I really like what he's done as well, just really changing the culture in Detroit and to being able to watch that firsthand, being a Bears fan. It's quite cool to see. And then us getting Ben Johnson, I'm hoping that he brings a lot of what Campbell's done for the Lions. So just hoping that, or looking at it from that sense of who's on the hot seat, I think that would be my order.
Okay. Tony, round us out here.
As far as hot seat goes, definitely Kevin Stefanski. 3-14 record last year. That's kind of a write-off because Deshaun Watson got injured. You were starting what seems like 10 quarterbacks. They basically had to beg Myles Garrett to stay, and he did. Got rid of Chubb. No one liked that move at all. I'll say, if Stefanski doesn't at least make the playoffs, he's gone. It doesn't matter what record he has, whether it's 10-7 like Seattle last year or another 3-14 mark. If Stefanski doesn't make the playoffs, he's going to be shown the door. Next will be Mike Tomlin. I don't know why Pittsburgh wants to get rid of a coach who has not had a losing season at all. They should be grateful, even though they could be better. The standard is the standard, and he has not finished under 500 at all. Though Pittsburgh could use a playoff win or two, I will agree with that. But Tomlin, I think he's going to be like Cowher. He's going to retire before he gets fired. And the coldest seat, his for now, Campbell's seat is ice because Detroit had a 15-2 record. Yeah, they lost to a Washington team that caught fire at the right time. But they have the swagger. They have swagger. They have talent. And this is a team that was years ago the first team to go 0-16 in a year. To see how far they've come, and if not for the second half collapse, I believe Dan Campbell says he owns that for gambling a little too much against San Francisco. This is a team that could have easily made the Super Bowl each of the past couple years. I think that Dan Campbell's seat is going to be ice cold.
Yeah, I think we all agree with that Dan Campbell is the safest of these three coaches. Like, there's no doubt if that. I probably would have kicked you out of this group if anybody would have put Dan Campbell anywhere but 3 on this list, to be 100% honest with you. Like, that's just asinine. The man is, it is what it is. Stefanski's definitely got to be number 1. It's Cleveland. Kind of have standards, but they kind of roll through some coaches a lot too as well. Tomlin's got to be right there at number 2. And yes, everyone, okay, yeah, he has winning seasons, but like I said it before, Pittsburgh, they're looking for championships. They're not looking for winning seasons. The standard is the standard of making it to at least the AFC championship game and then the Super Bowl after that. But Tony, let's stay with you. The Texans have won back-to-back AFC South titles and made it to the divisional round in the last 2 seasons. Are the Texans looking at the same result this season, or should they be doing better?
I think that until someone else actually emerges as a challenger, I think the South is the Texans to lose. I mean, you got CJ Stroud going in his 3rd year. He's a great QB and a great up-and-coming leader. You've got Nick Chubb. If he can somehow find the fountain of youth down in Houston and stay healthy, that'll be a big help, even with Mixon potentially being out a full year. The Indianapolis is always in that. They're not awful enough to get a top pick, but they're just not good enough to be a playoff team. So Indy could be a dark horse wild card.
Yeah, they could, for sure. Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, I totally agree with Tony that the Texans, it's their division really to lose, and the Colts, I think, are going to be a dark horse, like he said. I think they're going to be much improved, depending whether it's Danny Dimes playing all year, giving Anthony Richardson the go for it. But the Texans' run game, I think, is going to be is their backfield with Nick Chubb and Mixon, and what else can they do? Go over the top to Nico Collins. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. If Stroud can take another step forward, I think it's going to be a pretty good team in Houston.
Yeah, Houston's going to be tough, I think. But Bob, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's their division to win. I think they're the best team in that division right now. I think the Jags maybe be a little better than they were last year. I think maybe Tennessee might be a little better. But I just think that's the division. Unfortunately, they're not the better team in the AFC right now. So I think the same result. They'll win the division, but I think they struggle in the playoffs once again, and they probably end up losing.
Okay. Bill, what about you?
I got to think a lot of the same. I think a lot really hinges on Stroud. And if he can be as an Ohio State fan, what I think he can be, and I think a lot of people thought his rookie year, if he can be, really a guy, I think, they can take the next step. I think in the division they're in, though, regular season wise, it would be a big disappointment for them to lose that division. Jaguars, I think, really the only ones that have a good shot at it. Cam Ward, interested to see. I just don't really see the Titans or the Colts really threatening for the division too much. So I think Texans get that. And then if Stroud turns out to really be a guy, maybe you can go win a couple playoff games and see where it goes from there. But, good roster led by Stroud, but I don't see him competing with the really big dogs in the AFC yet.
I got you. TJ, round us out here.
About the same. You ride your passing game. It's just how this league goes. And they have the best quarterback by far. I think that, we're all sitting here waiting for Trevor Lawrence to break out. And it's getting to that point where we're talking about a bust here. It's unfortunate. And that's why they brought in, Travis Hunter I think he's going to potentially be more of an offensive guy than a defensive guy, even though you have more value in defense. But they're trying to give Trevor Lawrence the best chance that he can for the money that they paid him. So they're trying to put the best athletes around him. But the addition of Nick Chubb, what people don't understand is Nick Chubb isn't, hey, I'm going to go and get you 150 yards a game. I'm not going to go break those super long runs. But Nick Chubb breaks down in defense. And, he wasn't healthy last year. We brought him back too soon. So he's now has a full offseason, a full healthy offseason. I really think he's going to get back to breaking down defenses and giving Stroud the protection he needs to be able to hand the ball off when he's not having the games that he should be having. And that'll open up some of those routes. It's Texans division to lose. And much like Washington did this year, if the Texans find the hot streak like they did a couple of years ago when they get to the playoffs, I think that they could make a run. But are they a team to be afraid of? Probably not. I really hope that because he's on my he's on my fantasy roster, I hope that he does well. But that's being selfish. So
you're allowed. You're allowed when it comes to your fantasy teams. You're absolutely allowed for sure. I think, like everybody, the South is the Texans to lose. That they are going to dominate that division again. I like CJ Stroud. I do. I think he's a tough-nosed player. And to your point, TJ, Chubb's just a bruiser. That's all he is. He's just going to just wear down a defense, and he's just going to tire them out in the first half, and then it's going to open it up for Stroud later on in the game. And, if they catch fire late, they're going to be scary come playoff time. I think so. But TJ, let's stay with you. Who is your MVP prediction?
Oh, boy.
It's always a loaded question on this show.
Yeah,
it's always one.
That's tough because I think MVPs, unfortunately, are turning into a quarterback award. And it turns into the team that makes the playoffs that in almost in a dominant fashion, but then you mix in okay, who shouldn't be there? My MVP, I'll go out there and say it, and it hurts as a Browns fan. I think our MVP is Baker Mayfield. I think that the Buccaneers are on the fringe of they should be in the playoffs. They should be a playoff team. They're in a division where they can run the division, which opens up Baker Mayfield to have some huge games. He had an extremely good year last year. I think he's not as exciting as Lamar. He's not as exciting as Josh Allen. He's exciting as Jayden Daniels. But I think that when it comes to getting his team in position to win games, if that defense plays, they're going to win a lot of games, especially in that division. So I think that, Baker Mayfield is going to, break through, be the consistent quarterback that he's been. But we're talking about a guy that's 4,500 yards to 4,900 yards passing.
Yeah. I would love to see that as a Buccaneers fan myself. Baker's my guy. I love his attitude. I love his fire. I love the way he just wants to compete. Even in training camp when they wanted to sit him down because he was getting a little banged up because he was just being his typical maniac self in training camp. It ended up bruising pretty badly his throwing hand. And he's like, bruises aren't going to stop me from playing. Just let's go. And I love that attitude. That the NFC South is the Buccaneers division for what I can see for the foreseeable future. Just that defense. And now with the healthy Mike Evans, the healthy Chris Godwin, and the receivers that we added, at Tampa. I don't know how you don't give it to Baker Mayfield in that race of MVP. And if not, I mean, I'll scream from the mountaintops that it's rigged. 1,000%. But Phil, what about you?
Yeah, I'm a diehard Browns fan, and that one hurts, man. That one hurts. Love Baker, and I love what he's doing down there, but I'm going to go with someone else that, as a Browns fan, don't really love to do either. But I think might just put up some video game numbers, and if the defense can do enough to win games, I'm going to say Burrow. I think it might be Burrow. I think I was thinking maybe I was going to go Lamar there, but I think Burrow. I think they're going to have to throw the ball around the yard. I really do. And with the defense, if they can, the defense is not going to do enough to be having them not throw the ball, but if they can do enough to win some games, be in the playoffs, I think Burrow, again, I think some video game type numbers maybe this year can kind of get him in that category and maybe see him win it. I like Burrow. I think he can do it. Again, hate as a Browns fan, but like to see him do it over Lamar. So we'll say him.
Burrow's a solid pick. You can't go wrong with old Joe. But Bob, what about you?
I'm thinking Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to come back again. I think they felt like they were like on the brink of winning it last year. Andrews catches that pass. Who knows what happens in the playoffs. So I think they're kind of hungry again to kind of win this thing. And I think he's going to play really well this year, I think.
Okay. Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Bill, I believe it was, and Joe Burrow for the same exact reason. If they can get some wins into the playoffs, I think that's what hindered his ability to win it last year because of what he did with the situation he was in. But, yeah, love watching him as a player, but I believe it would be Joe Burrow if it's a quarterback. If it's not a quarterback, I'm going with Saquon Barkley as a running back.
Okay. Tony, round us out on this question.
This is going to be a wild card. I'm going to say Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels of Washington. He put up really impressive numbers last year, led Washington to their first NFC championship game since 1991, the year before I was born. And if he can put up similar numbers this year and Washington can somehow win the NFC East, which is not going to be easy considering you have the defending Super Bowl champs in that same division. If Daniels can have a breakout year just like last year, he can throw, he can run the ball. I think that Daniels could be in some dark horse consideration.
I got you. I don't hate any of those picks at all. I think all of them are solid. I would love to see somebody other than Mahomes or Josh Allen win it. Seems like they've been dominating the MVP races the past couple of years, rightfully so. But yeah, I would love to see one of those guys win it. But Tony, we're going to stay here, and I knew this one is a fitty question just because he knows I'm a Steelers fan. But who wins more games, Aaron Rodgers with the Steelers or Russell Wilson with the Giants?
The vibes are good with the Giants right now. Yeah, Russell Wilson, the veteran QB. They don't have Tommy Cutlets no more.
Nah, you got rid of old Tommy Cutlets.
And Jackson Dart really did impress in the preseason, and people are high on him. And then you have Jameis being Jameis. So I am going to have to say, that being said, although the vibes are high with the Giants, because the standard, and only because the standard is the standard, I'm going to pick the Steelers to somehow win 10 games and somehow get in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers is going to do something like announce his retirement at the end of the season if the Steelers make a deep playoff run or something like that.
Gotcha. Ryan, what about you?
I'm agreeing with Tony and saying that the standard is a standard and the Steelers are going to have more wins with Aaron Rodgers over the Giants with Russell Wilson.
Okay. Bob, what about you?
Say Aaron Rodgers too, only because I don't think Russell Wilson's going to be playing that long. I can't see him lasting I think they're going to get the dart right away. First couple of maybe 3 or 4 games in, I think they're going to get him out because I don't know if you've seen the schedule. They have a rough schedule to start off. I could see them going like 0 for 2, 0 for 3, and then just start throwing in the towel already and start dart. So I could see Rodgers playing some more games than him and getting some more wins because of it.
Gotcha. Bill, what about you?
I don't know if it's a trick question or not. Is it with Wilson? Because I feel like you said, we could have a quarterback change, but I'm going to be a hater here and kind of maybe change the question up and just say overall wins, Steelers or Giants for the year. I'll go Giants. And it's less about the quarterback and more about defense and defensive line. I think their defensive line is nasty. So, again, probably being a little bit of a hater here as a Browns fan, but I'm not convinced about Rodgers in Pittsburgh. You know, you can pencil them in for 8 or 9 wins, and we'll see if the Giants can get maybe one more than that with the good D line and got neighbors and everything else out there. So we'll say Giants maybe to throw a wrench into things here.
Yeah, we're going to circle back to that here in a second, Bill. But I want to get TJ's answer on this one first.
Yeah, I immediately started thinking about defense, and I'm like, man, the Giants have a really good interior. They just have a really good defense interiorly, but it's a quarterback league, kind of like I said before. And unfortunately, Russell Wilson, he was a product of the Pete Carroll system. He's a very talented quarterback with a great running game. The Giants aren't going to put together an offensive scheme that makes, Russell Wilson look better than, an aging quarterback is. Whereas, Aaron Rodgers, they'll find a way to run the ball. That's just who the Steelers are. They're going to run the ball no matter who the quarterback is, and they're going to find a way to do it and do it well. And then I think the Steelers' defensive mentality outmatches the Giants' defensive mentality. So I think that the Steelers just, they walk into a locker room expecting to win. The Giants walk into the locker room proud, happy with a win. So, the Browns do the same thing. So, unfortunately, just how we are, the bottom of the barrel of the NFL. So, I'm still saying the Steelers are they're gonna win more games just out of, look at the past. Hindsight 2020. We'll be looking at that in a year. So, that's how it is.
Absolutely. I absolutely think it will be Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers because of that defense in Pittsburgh. That defensive mentality is what they have is we're going to smack you in the mouth and you're going to have to literally run through us to get anywhere. We were having winning seasons and 10-win seasons with Kenny Pickett as our quarterback. I mean, let's face it, the dude can't even hold on to the ball. His hands are so small. He was a bust as a draft pick. Russell Wilson as an aging quarterback in that system just didn't really work. Justin Fields, although I was high on Justin Fields, not to the level of what Rodgers is and what Rodgers has done in the NFL. And then, after Ben, we've had like 10 different quarterbacks since Ben Roethlisberger has retired, and we had freaking Mason Rudolph winning games. Like, I think Rodgers is going to get it done solely because of the defense is going to keep him in the games, and Rodgers makes those plays late in the game when it counts and when he needs it, and he's going to throw up a prayer to DK. And when and the game's good, it's going to be a Hail Mary to DK. It's going to end every game. I can see it happening.
My son's 2, and I think the Browns have had 10 quarterbacks since he's been alive. So
yeah. You're not wrong on that one. TJ, let's stay with you here. Do the Browns have the worst quarterback room in the NFL? Joe Flacco is the starter, and Shador Sanders and Dylan Gabriel are the backups, along with Deshaun Watson being on IR. Like, is this the worst quarterback room in the league right now?
So I'm going to say no, and here's why. Our quarterback room has talent, where other quarterback rooms may not have any talent actually involved. Do we know what's going on? No, not even a little bit. I think that Stefanski, kind of going back to what we talked about at the beginning, when he's on the hot seat, I think, unfortunately, he's being dealt a hand that's not extremely fair because of the quarterback room. But with that being said, Joe Flacco, proven veteran, you know exactly what you're getting. You're going to get 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. That's just what you're going to get. You're going to get a ton of it. You're going to get the Jameis Winston. You're going to get a guy that throws for 400 yards and 4 interceptions. It's just we know what we're getting. But then we have rookies that we only have upside. We're going to watch out how that plays. You look at, we just changed Kenny Pickett to the Raiders. You look at that. They had one quarterback. They had one. So now they're sitting there thinking, like, if this doesn't work out, now we have Kenny Pickett. It's just, I'm not saying Kenny Pickett's done for. Look at Sam Darnold, but there's other teams that have one choice. And as soon as you go to the backup, now they're in real bad shape. They looked at Lamar. They said, if Lamar gets hurt, do the Ravens make the playoffs? And I think that if Flacco gets hurt, we're in the exact same position, really. So I think we have a consistently low quarterback room, but I don't think we have the worst situation in the league.
Okay. Bill, what about you?
Yeah, I'll say not the worst. And I think we're probably in the bottom 2 or 3, unfortunately. But I like Flacco. Can buy into the rookies. I like Shadur. Throw one up, maybe. But I think the Saints room right now is probably the worst. They're starting Rattler, I think. They got, they drafted Shuck. I'm assuming isn't showing too well down there. So maybe by default it's not the Browns, but I'll go with the Saints being the worst right now.
Okay. Bob, what about you?
Yeah, I'm right there with Bill. I think the Saints have the worst quarterback room right now. Browns a little close, but I think Flacco is going to give you some good games, and he's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to give you what every once in a while late in the game he might throw a pick, but he's going to be consistent. He'll throw the ball away like he should. A veteran guy does. But that Saints, the I'm starting, and then the backup, I have no idea what they're doing down there. Of course, they're playing for Arch Manning, I think, next year. So I think that's what they're getting ready for next year.
I think a lot of teams are going to be doing that this year, Bob. I don't think honestly, I shit you not. When the Steelers signed Rodgers, I was just like, this was our year. This was our year
to be really bad.
Just tank a season to get the number 1 pick, to get Arch Manning and have a Manning playing for us. Like that's where I was at. I thought it was going to happen. No, it's not. It's not. That somehow they're going to win 10 games, and that's just it's Pittsburgh. But Ryan, what about you with the Browns QB room?
Yeah, I would agree with Bob and Bill saying the Saints is the worst, because Rattler is not a good option in my opinion, unless there was some miracle that happened to him over the offseason. But if Flacco goes down, you're turning to Gabriel and Sanders. So as you would turn to 2 rookies, I still think that there's a lot of upside with what was said earlier. So, but again, if Rattler gets hurt, then you go to Shuck. But boy, is that a tough situation. Kellen Moore got himself into a good situation his first year, having to figure out that quarterback room.
For sure. And after these last 3 answers, let's go to our resident Saints fan, Tony, to round out this question.
Y'all pray for me. Oh, man. I'm going to have to agree with every single one of y'all. The Saints QB room is the worst. And I'm saying this as a Saints fan. On the bright side, it's nice that we're finally just taking the Band-Aid off and going into a rebuild, which we need to do a couple years ago because of our cap hell that we were in, almost being in contention, but not really being in contention. I am not high on Rattler or Schuff, and Schuff's going to be 26 next month, so kind of like a Brandon Whedon situation back in the day. I think we're just tanking for Arch. I would have liked to have had Tommy Cutlets, man. Tommy Cutlets would have at least provided some vibes, even if he wasn't the best QB. So I'm going to go with our Saints.
I get it, and I have to agree that the Saints is by far worse than the Browns. It's a very close race, though. I mean, you can't start the season with like 10 quarterbacks in your QB room in training camp and expect people not to be like, well, what are they going to do? Yeah, you can have one go down, but you can only bring 2 to 3 to a game at best. And like, it's just Flacco. I mean, talk about a guy that needs to like hang the cleats up. I mean, he's still got a little life in him. I don't know if he has a full season in him. It's going to come down to Shador and Dylan fighting out for that backup spot to see who's going to replace Flacco during the season. Because, I mean, he's going to get hurt. But, yeah, the Saints, I honestly couldn't even have told you who was backing up Rattler, to be 1,000% honest with you guys. The fact that I'm saying Rattler is the starter is just astronomical to me. That's what y'all are having to deal with, Tony. And yeah, I feel for you. You know, prayers into your way as a Saints fan and all Saints fans in alike, because it's going to be a rough season for y'all. But Tony, let's stay with you here. And who's your pick to win Coach of the Year?
Coach of the Year. I'm going to have to say Dan Campbell of the Lions, because the Lions, like I said, have that swagger. They've got that Midwestern toughness. I think if the Lions can put a deep run together and say make the Super Bowl this year, I know the Coach of the Year is decided even before that, which I think is kind of dumb, but I would have to go with Dan Campbell of the Lions. And if the Broncos can make a deep run, which is going to be tough, my dark horse pick is, I can't believe I'm saying this as a Saints fan, Sean Payton of the Broncos.
I was waiting to see if you would even bring him up, Tony, to be honest with you. But Brian, what about you? Who's your Coach of the Year?
I'm going to be as optimistic as I can as a Bears fan and say Ben Johnson.
That's a lot of optimism. I'm going to be
going to win 10 games, Bono, and he's going to win Coach of the Year, and it's going to be a magnificent season.
Brian, everybody's got to have a dream, man. I love you to death, brother. Everybody's got to have a dream, and I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you on that one.
It's coming, Bono. When it happens, you can bookmark this point in the podcast. All right.
We are. I will happily clip this and blast it all over social media if it happens. I'll even pay to boost it so more people see it. Like that's now just
now I can't
just
wait
for you, Ryan. Just for you, Ryan. That's
something to look forward to. Now this is going to be great.
Bob, what about you? Who's your Coach of the Year?
Jim Harbaugh. I think the Chargers are going to do some good things this year. I think they're going to surprise some people. I think they're going to win the West. They're going to make a little bit of a deep run. So I think Jim Harbaugh is going to come out and surprise people, maybe dethrone Kansas City this year.
I don't hate it. I don't hate the Jim Harbaugh pick there. I really don't. But Bill, what about you?
Yeah, when I think Coach of the Year, I'm thinking of a team that, again, is going to overachieve. I think a team that's been bad for a while now, had a lot of heydays, honestly, not that long ago. But thinking Mike Vrabel with the Patriots. If he can make them, in the running, maybe sneak into a wild card spot, young and up and coming, I think obviously get the Patriots back relevant again. In his first year, I think could be, obviously something that could be kind of latched on to by some of the media and kind of carry the candidacy towards Coach of the Year. So we'll throw Vrabel out there.
Okay. It's a solid pick too. TJ, round us out here.
I love the Vrabel pick. That was the first thing, because if he does anything successful, he's great. But I'm going to go Zach Taylor for the Bengals. I think that if Joe Burrow connects with his offense and the defense was abysmal. The defense was like, here, just walk by us, score so that our offense can go back on the field because we don't want to be out here. If they can shake that, even with their high payroll, with their 4 players or whatever it is, I'm telling you, if they can get into the playoffs, that team is going to look like, wow. Even though we have Joe Burrow, who's a potential MVP player, even though, we have the wide receiving core that we have, I think that team could really shock people into being a playoff team, a wild card team. And, they might appreciate Zach Taylor. And I think it might earn him a little bit more in his contract. So that's the one I'm picking on a limb.
I like how we all have different picks here. I was thinking Dan Campbell, Tony. I like that pick. Solid. Everyone's made some good picks. I'm going to throw another monkey wrench into everything here. And I'm going to say Pete Carroll with the Raiders. Kind of using your theory there, Bill. He brings in Geno Smith down there in Vegas. He knows his system. He knows how to run it. And I think he turns the Raiders around. And they sneak into a wild card here in the West. And, I think you got to give it to Pete Carroll for turning around that franchise. And I think that's what's going to happen. So I like them as a dark horse. You can't go wrong with Vegas. And I had to almost pause there to say Vegas and not Oakland. I had to think about that for a second. But TJ, another big one here. Who's your Super Bowl prediction?
Oh boy. It's so hard. Let's go. I'm on the Buccaneers train. I don't know what I it's just how it is. I'm on the Buccaneers train.
Ride it, man. It's a fun train. Ride it.
It's just it's something about them. It's just a weird. They have enough. They have enough. Okay, let's go. AFC. Let's go. Buccaneers. See, now this is where you're talking about. You have a lot of teams. Let's go Buccaneers. You know what? I'll give Josh Allen. His chance. Let's say the Bills get to the Super Bowl. Let's do the Bills and the Buccaneers.
Okay. I like it. I like the Bucs pick. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll just stay on that train, TJ. I'm telling you, it's a fun ride. It's a fun ride on that Buccaneers train. Bill, what about you?
Well, the train of the Browns has been fucking going off the rails for a while.
Yeah, you've been off the rails for a while. We were off the rails as a Buccaneers fan. Don't get me wrong. We had our down years. We're finally getting on the tracks on the Baker Mayfield train. That's what we're riding. Bill, who's your predictions?
We just go with prediction here. We go with champion as well.
Just prediction. Who's in the game? Who's in the game?
I want to make sure. Let's do. I like the Bills pick. I'll give it to Josh Allen. I feel like you've just seen so many marquee matchups with him in really big games, and they've just come up just short in the playoffs against some of your big time quarterbacks. Him and Mahomes, him and Burrow going at it. And I think. Flip the coin. Maybe it flips his way this year, and he gets the ball last and can kind of get the job done, get there the AFC. And then NFC, I'll go probably maybe a little recency bias with the Micah Parsons trade, but we'll go with the Packers. I like them. They were good last year. I like Jordan Love. Think the defense is good. You add Parsons, that certainly isn't going to hurt you. So, Eagles are great over there, obviously, as well, but we'll go with someone new and say the Packers versus Bills.
Okay. Bob, what about you?
I'll go with Washington and Baltimore as my two teams going there. I think Washington's going to grow up this year. They're in the division with Philly, but I think Philly's it's one of those things where when you win a Super Bowl, you go out partying that whole year. So I think the Eagles have been partying. I could see Barkley breaking down too. I think he had a great year last year, but I could see him maybe breaking down a little bit this year. So I'm going to do Washington. I'm going to go with my coach of the year, Harbaugh, with the Charger. With the Baltimore. Okay. And there's going to be Baltimore and San Diego in the AFC Championship game, I think, too.
Yeah, another Harbaugh Bowl is what we're going to get. Yeah, I could see it coming soon, very soon. Ryan, what about you?
Wild card answer, trying to think of something fun, but all I can think about after saying what I said is the Lions beating the Bears in the playoffs and then going to the Super Bowl. So the Lions, and then I'm going to go with the Bengals. Lions, Bengals in the Super Bowl.
Not a bad one. Not a bad one. Tony, what about you?
I am going to go with Detroit and Buffalo. I was so tempted to go with Kansas City, but I'm going to go with Buffalo and Detroit for the Super Bowl. A battle of two teams who've never won it all. I don't believe Detroit's ever been to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go for that game, and it's going to be a high-scoring affair.
Okay. I would love to see that. Two teams that have never made the Super Bowl fighting for their first. I think like the entire world, there'd be nobody not watching this game. Like that, if that was the case, people who don't even like football would be watching that. I'm going to be a super homer because I can't figure it out. And I'm just going to go with my two favorite teams. I'm going to say Steelers, Buccaneers, and that's just going to be a heartbreaker for me. I wouldn't know who to root for. I'd be rooting for offense and just hoping it's just a high scoring affair. Being a Steelers and Buccaneers fan, that I'm gonna go with both of them. I really do think the Steelers can make it this year. Mainly because, I mean, what a way for Aaron Rodgers to ride off into the sunset. I mean, he's hinted, but hasn't come out and say it. This is his last year. Go out with Pittsburgh, make a deep run, win a Super Bowl, call it a career. And, I legit think the Buccaneers can make it. I have no idea on the AFC. The AFC is it's stacked. It's a flip a coin, and you're going to land on a team that can win the Super Bowl in the AFC. But I like what the Buccaneers are doing, and I like the team, the defense, the offense is clicking. I think this is our year to get back without Tom Brady. And so people can stop telling me, see, the only reason you guys won a Super Bowl is because you had Tom Brady. So I can finally get that off of my back as a Buccaneers fan. Tony, stay with you and just go with you on this one here. What team is poised to have a huge step forward this year?
I am going to say in the AFC, Jacksonville. They're going to take a step forward. Wild card pick is Las Vegas. I don't know if Jacksonville will make the playoffs, but I mean, you can't do much worse than 3-14. So
you can go 0-16.
I think Travis,
you absolutely can go worse than 3-14.
But they're not going to go 0-16. And I think Travis Hunter is going to be as good as people expect. I think probably they're going to be around 7-8 wins and be in a contention till week 17 or 18. And in the NFC, I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but they're going to be better than their 3-14 record last year. The New York Giants, they'll probably win around 8 games.
Okay. Barth, what about you?
Yeah, I agree totally with Tony with those two teams, but I'm going to go with the Chargers in the AFC. I think just making the playoffs last year, getting a taste of that, and then getting Herbert back fully healthy, taking a step forward is definitely in the cards for them. And then in the NFC, I'm staying with the Bears, Bono. They're taking that step forward. It's happening. I know it is. I'm sticking to it.
You stick to your guns, man. I will never fault you for sticking to your guns. I scream every year from the mountaintops that the Buccaneers and Steelers are going to be in the Super Bowl every year, Ryan. I'm not going to be mad at you for that. Yeah. It's not going to happen, but I appreciate it.
Again, bookmark it.
We'll bookmark this, yeah. We're just I'm telling you, I'll make the deal with you right now. If that happens, I swear to you, I will only cut out this portion of the show and air it just that's it. A 30-second show, and it's just Barth was right.
I appreciate that.
No, I got you, man. Bob, what about you? Who takes a big step forward this year?
Jacksonville and the AFC, I think they're going to be better than they were the last couple of years. I think Lawrence will play a little better. They got Hunter to give him another weapon. And then I want to say in the NFC, I want to say Seattle. I think Seattle's going to come up a little bit. I think they're going to be better. I think the 49ers, I think they're going to be down a little bit. I'd like to say the Bears, but that division's so hard. I feel bad for them. They're in probably the best division in the NFC. So I would have to go with maybe Seattle to make a little bit of a surprise run, and then Jacksonville.
Okay. Stoy, what about you?
Man, Bono, I think you might be wrong on the Bears. I think they might be. I mean, 5-12. I was just looking it up last year. I mean, they got the talent. You obviously hope Caleb Williams takes that next step. Got Ben Johnson. I see no reason why not. I mean, they got the talent there. They just got to put it together. And if they can kind of start clicking on offense, Caleb Williams can start clicking. I think it absolutely can go get double the wins from last year without an issue. And then AFC side, I think I'll stick with the Patriots again. I think, with Vrabel, Drake May taking another step up. We'll see if they're quite there yet. I think they can, add a couple more weapons, but if they can be kind of a hard-nosed defensive team, and Drake May can kind of take a step up. I think they got, love Trey Henderson from Ohio State. I think he's electric there. So I think they can, definitely improve from the basement they have been the past, 4 or 5 years. So those will be my two squads.
Okay. TJ.
The Pats are the first team that came into my mind. And Travion Henderson, that was the first person. I think that's a game changer. If he stays healthy, the Patriots double their win total. I think they're at 8 wins. Are they a playoff team? Probably not. But that division, the Dolphins have a chance to fall. I just think that division has enough for the taking to where the Patriots can be, can do really well. I think the Jets, if their D line doesn't play, there's not a whole lot behind that D line that does real well. But in the NFC, this is the, Bono, you're going to invite me just for this, but keep inviting me to podcasts. But the Buccaneers, they're 10 wins. They won the division. And I don't think 10 wins shows the type of team they are. I think they're a 12-win team. I think they're a 13-win team this year. I think they take that step forward into being a dominant team where week in and week out, everybody puts their best foot forward. You circle those teams on the schedule. You say, hey, if we beat this team, people will start paying attention to us. But I think the Buccaneers are going to be that 12, 13-win team where it's, listen, we're here and we're not going anywhere, and you have to play your best game to beat us. So, Pats and Buccaneers, I think that's who I have for those two teams.
I'm never going to bite your head off for saying the Buccaneers are going to be doing better. I can see the stank face from Tony as a Saints fan over there, like that he's making on that one. It's just, but my two teams, I think Vegas takes a big step forward. I like Pete Carroll. I liked him when he was in Seattle. He's a hell of a coach. Bringing Geno Smith on board with him, their quarterback who knows his offense. I think Vegas takes a big step forward. Jags come to mind too as well. Patriots, that's a solid pick too. I mean, there's a lot of teams that need to make a big step forward, and I think they do. I think a lot of teams take a big step forward, but Vegas is going to be the one for me that I think really takes that big leap forward under Pete Carroll. And TJ, we're going to end the show with this last question here, and it's is Jalen Hurts a top 10 quarterback in the NFL?
He really is, and I guess maybe being a Browns fan, that's just the sour taste in our mouths. We've seen quarterbacks destroy a talented team, a talented offense, a talented defense. And if you don't have a quarterback at the helm can at least keep the game steady, you lose. You lose games. So when you talk about a guy that consistently gets to the playoffs, and now he's won a Super Bowl, and it's not even like he won a Super Bowl. He dominated a Super Bowl. And you want to look around at like, oh, he had Saquon Barkley. Oh, he has A.J. Brown. Oh, he's got this defense. He's got all these. Yeah, but the quarterback still can't give the ball to either team. If your quarterback does that consistently and your quarterback can't run the offense and your quarterback doesn't have the trust of all of the offense behind him, they will lose those games. So how many years does he have to be a winning quarterback for us to consider him a top 10 talent? So I say yes, and just based off of his resume.
Okay. Bill, what about you?
Yeah, I say yeah as well. I think obviously last year was a big one for the resume for him, but he's a leader. He's great with the legs. I think they really are bought into him as the guy there, and he throws the ball super well too. I mean, he performs when you need to perform, obviously, through that playoff run. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at all to see them make another run this year with him and many years going forward. So I would say definitely a top 10 guy. I don't know about top 5, but that 5 to 10 range, I think is, again, a franchise type quarterback, and they got the right one there in Philly.
Okay. Bob, what about you?
I think he is a top 10. I mean, you look at his resume, like I said, 2 Super Bowls now. He's won one, was the MVP in the one last year. So I think you got to give him the credit of what he's done. They've got some weapons around him, which helps him out a little bit. But I think he does a good job, and he's kind of came over out of nowhere kind of to really play really well. So, yeah, I think he's definitely a top 10 quarterback.
Okay. Barth, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the general consensus saying he's top 10, and he's really done a good job with just managing the game throughout his career. He's always just very even keel, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, but does his job really well. And he's got a great offensive line and a great running back, and that'll certainly take some pressure off you as a quarterback. So I'm going to go with definitely in the top 10.
Okay. Tony, round us out here.
I agree with the whole consensus here. He's a top 10 QB, Super Bowl champion, doesn't seem to get rattled under pressure, and I wouldn't be surprised if he made another deep playoff run this year.
Yeah, I definitely think he's in the top 10. I would put him on the lower end of the top 10. I mean, he's definitely – I'd even go in that 7 to 10 range, I'd say. Resumes picking him up there. 2 Super Bowls, MVP, Super Bowl MVP, winning one Super Bowl. He's got it there. He'll get up there into the top 5, I think. But he's definitely a top 10 quarterback. And anybody who says otherwise is just a hater and just doesn't like Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. Because, I mean, the kid can ball. He can run. He can throw. He's got a great arm strength. And, yeah, he's definitely a top 10 quarterback for sure. But that is actually going to do it for this week's episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast and our NFL preview show. I'm so glad for all my guests to be on here. Tony, TJ, Bill, Bob, and Ryan for joining. A lot of fun to get there and to sit and talk football with anybody anytime. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways, because they might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week. The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.